Hello, everyone. Another Thursday, November the 20th. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is great. Let's see. AI, foot hell, top of the morning to all the nosies in the house. There you go. That's what I want to hear. Uh, Demented Ferret is here. Dark Sky Design. Hackzir is here. And a few more. Identify yourselves. Good. As you can see, I'm trying a bit more of a chiaroscuro style. Yeah, I'm thinking of changing some things in the background. I was trying to find some, I don't know, old quasi-broken monitors or TVs to populate the back with more graphics and lights and all that. We will see. We'll see. So, oh, the quick tip. So, as of a minute ago, and this is where I'm going to start today's show. Let me quickly show you this. So, I frequent on various Discord channels and the Cinema 4D Reddit channel. And yeah, this is something I worked on years ago on in Cinema 4D standard renderer, how to create an X-ray from any properly modeled model. And today it became a quick tip, but so that you can do this using Redshift, and it's very simple. So go to the Max and Training Machine YouTube channel, check out the quick tips, and see today's quick tip. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that. Let me put it in a banner. So subscribe, and do we have a like? No, I think you need to like, you need to comment, you need the algorithm that controls humanity, i.e. YouTube, and needs you to feed it with thumbs up and comments, and even the occasional thumbs down actually helps, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, just tell your friends, your families, your uh, barber or hairdresser or anything, your doctor, um, your pet's doctor, and everyone else to subscribe and click the thumbs up and post a comment and start watching Cinema 4D videos. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have a nice little chat up there. There you go. So I thought it was AI for hell, but it's Al, as in Alfred or Albert. Yeah, sorry, Al. I am not AI. But that could be a capital A and a lowercase L. So I have an issue with a capital I, because it looks like a lowercase L as well. So funny enough, um, a lot of the words you will see I write, if I write a word that starts with I and it's the first word of the sentence, instead of putting a capital I put a lowercase I, because the lowercase I is very hard to miss. It's a little thing with a dot on top. Anyway, so a couple more comments here. We should have more uh, quick tips. Yes and no. We are trying to create as much content as possible. Yeah, if you have questions, most of my quick tips do come from your questions, right? That come from all the place. So please make sure to ask your questions. Go click in the form. By the end of the show, I'm going to show you the link to the form and all that. And I am gonna go and paste a link for you. I'm gonna paste a link. Boo, 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 boo. Where's that link? I can never find that link. Let's go quickly. Whatever. Let's go here. Just going to take this and copy it and paste it, just in case you want to get to the page where you want to ask your questions. But generally, you can ask them. Oh, I'm not showing my screen. So what's that all about? There we go. So I'm just copying this little thing here. I'm going to paste it in the chat. So you're going to have the ability to use that. This is part of my housekeeping, but I'm doing it quickly now so you can have some sort of reference. Yeah. So just go there and use that link. Excellent. Let's see if we have any other comments here. Good morning, Mr. Big Beans. Thompson X, ba, 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 the Majestic Maidens. Is there a way? Okay, let's start answering some questions here. Let's see. Um, is there a way to limit the speed of the cloner within certain speed values, like velocity effector? What do you mean the speed of the cloner? If you could please elaborate, the cloner itself does not have speed. Um, yeah, tell me what exactly you are thinking of, and I will tell you. I'm a master of MoGraph, amongst other things. Okay, let's answer questions that have the word Blender in them. Why does Blender's painting work so well and so poorly? I'm using Blender now for a job, even though I pay for Cinema 4D. Well, I don't know. There's no definite answer to this. What I can say is that many people are using different tools at the same time to produce the same result. It's the equivalent of me asking why doesn't Blender's, geometry nodes work as simply as MoGraph and all that. And the answer is there are always a finite number of developers. We do have body paint, which unfortunately has had a quite a lot of sorry, the opposite, has had very little attention in the last few years. There are other tools out there that do that, Substance Painter being one, and so forth. So that's not a direct answer to why Blender is built around a certain tool set. And yeah, excellent. So what do we have here? Is there a better way to mask an object than using an object with transparent material and setting the masked object to not be seen by transparency? Um, Wait a minute, let me understand this a bit. Is there a better way to mask an object than using an object with transparent material and setting the masked object not to be seen? What do you mean mask an object? Are you talking about a decal? Um, if you want to mask something, you would create an opacity, not a transparency. Opacity and transmission, or also known as transparency, are two different things. Al, if you can be a bit more specific, so I understand the question a bit more. Excellent. So, where are we here? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything up there. I'm looking at my other monitor, trying to. Let's see. Where are we here? Um, okay. Big Beans, is it possible to make a cloth simulation form into text? And you can do this particles, but does it work while simulating cloth? This is, I would say, quite vague. Let me give you an example. You could take text and make it dissolve, make it cloth, make it dissolve, and then just play it backwards, or you can cache it. And if it was as simple as getting some text over here, let's put it in the middle, putting some sort of typeface. Let me maximize my screen so everyone can see exactly what's going on. So I think this, oh, where's my mode where it only shows me? I think my window is too small. Sorry about that. There are some interface elements I need to take care of. Let me go and do this. Okay, so just maximum screen. Oh my God, I can't. Have they changed something? Has someone? I do not want my icon to be there. That looks like it. Yeah, they've changed. Yeah, I hate it when people change UI elements when it's not absolutely necessary just to change the feel of something. Just confuses me. And I'm old. Don't forget about that. Maybe it's a good thing, and because I'm old and I like stability. Let's don't change the UIs. Let's make a simple flat polygon from this, right? The easiest way is to use an extrude or a loft with only one spline. With the extrude, you just set this to 0, and it will create one polygon. It doesn't create two overlapping polygons. The developers are smart enough to say that, well, when the offset is 0, don't create two caps, one for the front, one for the back. Consolidate them. So let's go and you can see this is an n-gon. So we can go here and change this to a regular grid, for example, or a Delaunay triangulation, which I find extremely fun. So let's go with the regular grid. And we need to make sure that the spline itself has enough subdivisions. All splines by default are adaptive. So they will have a different subdivision for curves and a different subdivision for straights based on this angle. The best method is subdivided, which gives you separate control for the straight lines in terms of the max length. The smaller this number, the more subdivisions on the edge, and the angle insofar as the curves are concerned. So I like to do this fairly consistently like this. Anyway, and if you put quad dominant somewhere around here in the caps, go here, put quad dominant, it's going to try and make these little squares. There you go. So let's assume this is a piece of cloth, and I don't know what we want to do. Let's go and hang them from something. So let's create an object which I'm going to make invisible later on, and without doing too much, I'm just going to go and put it somewhere behind. Right, so let's go put it here behind it. I can make it totally invisible. But before I make it invisible, I'm just going to add some subdivisions. I want you to see what I'm doing so you know, have a better idea. I'm adding some subdivisions just so that we have more points because I'm going to use a connector tag to connect the cloth. So this is going to be a cloth to whatever this cube is going to be. Now, I don't, I prefer, the way I like to use the connector tag is I go and make, let's say the object I want to pin everything to, I'm going to bring it up here. I make it a cloth. Now, funny enough, you would assume that a cloth is going to flop down, but no, I'm going to go to mix animation and just pin it. So what this means is that while this object is still a cloth and has all the behaviors of a cloth, it doesn't move. It's just like a collider object, but the collisions and all that are going to be calculated as if it's a cloth. Let's go now to the cloth or the cube. Let's go to simulation, and let's go to the connector tag. Now, let's create update live and move this up until we start seeing those yellow lines coming up. Well, no, because this is not a cloth. You have to make that a cloth. I didn't hear anyone complaining. So let's do this again. So just move this around. There you go. Let's grab a few of these points. Now I can make this invisible. I don't care about it anymore. Let's go and extend this to 350 and press play. And you'll see that we have our little cloth flopping around. And if you take this and move it around, yeah, you can do this. So let's assume that you want the text to go from the ground and come up to this position here. What I would do is I would animate them. Let's make a floor. Now, I did say something, that question was a bit vague. That's because I don't know exactly what kind of animation you really want to do. So here I'm just going to put a collider object. And we can take this cube and go and add frame 19. I'm going to create a keyframe, and at frame 60, I'm just going to move it down here. I know it's only the Y, but who cares? Rewind, press play, and you'll see that we're going to get this. There you go. That's it. So let's go to frame 100. And you can take this cloth now. And I'm going to go and very, very quickly save it. I'm going to save it in today's folder. That will be reverse cloth. Just make sure that everything is working fine. Okay. Sometimes I talk for a while, and then I realize that either I'm not audible or something else is going on. So just make sure that everything is fine. Okay. What I like to do with simulation of cloth and all that, especially if it's just one object, I like to put it under a connect object without the welding. Call this cached cloth. Because I just want anything underneath here to become just a mesh object. This allows you to take a hierarchy of a number of cloth objects and create one animation. So right click, Baker's Alembic, and delete. Booby dooby doo. I saved it, so we'll get the Alembic in the same folder. It's going to remove this. There you go. And now we have this. Boop. Excellent. And I can remove everything else. And now it's a matter of just playing this backwards. And yeah, that would be, you can do the timer mapping just in case you haven't paid attention, where this is just from start to end. So I can go from end to start and do this. There you go. Now I know it's not perfect, right? It's got some thing. So one way, depending on animation, could be this. So let's try another way. Let's go back to my file here. So I've got this, and let's assume that everything is down here. Okay. So what else can we do? We can play with a mix animation, I assume, where we can make these go back to their original position. I assume this could work. I'm not sure. I have to say, I'm not sure if this is going to work. So if we don't know, let's try it. So let's go to the cloth. Let's go to the dresser and set this as the initial state. Okay. Let me remove the cube here. I don't want that to be, so you will see, there we go. This is the starting position. And then I'm going to go to my mix animation. Now, disclaimer, this may not work. I'm going to actually put a banner that's called, I'm creating a banner that is called caution. This may not work. There we go. So, boop, banner, caution, this may not work. Now, if it doesn't work, it's not my fault. If it does, I take all credit, and I advise everyone to think the same way as I do. So let's go to the mix animation with pins and go 0 at frame 0. Let's go at frame 5. I'm going to give it 5 seconds. And at frame 45, I'm going to set this to 100. I have no idea what's going to happen. We're going to try something else. So let's see. Whoop. There you go. That's not bad. Whoop. There you go. Nice. And you can actually do this with fields as well, because you can control that using a vertex map. So that will be an interesting thing. I like the bounciness. Now, you can also use the with force. Now, for anyone, although I've explained it a few times in tutorials and all that nice stuff, one thing you need to, the difference between this is absolute. So anything that has a high value is going to be fully simulated. Anything that has a low value in the map, that is going to not be simulated. So if you set the influence to 100% and have a 100 value on the vertex maps of this, it's going to work 100% simulated. It's going to be cloth. If it's a 0 value, it's going to go to the position. So you can do that with a growing vertex map. With the force, takes each point and, let's say, blows it using, each point has its own little blowing force, like you little point, go back to your position. So this actually is not as accurate as this, but it's smoother. So let's set this to 10 and see what happens. They should start. Oh, come on, go. Have I animated something? What have I done? Interesting. It's not going to its original position. That is very interesting. So it's not this, is it? No. So with pins, so I guess with pins is what you would want it to do. That is interesting. I don't like that it does that thing. So maybe I need to animate this. I don't know. We'll try 0 to 100%. I need to look into that because I would expect that to kind of work. No, it's not taking it there. So with pins, it would be the way to go. So I undo a few times to go back to that state. So this would be another way of doing it. Oh, excellent. And now it's not working. It did work earlier, didn't it? So it stores the original position, so the one we have in the dresser, as the original position. So I need to look into that. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it does work, but it works only with pins. Interesting. Try the experiments and tell me if they work for you. And I assume they're going to be, you can make it look better if you do use vertex maps. I'm going to show you this as well, just to make sure. So let's assume this is 100%. So it will, yep, 100%, but we need a map now. Let's see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go, well, I don't think it's the connect object. Okay, let me try this. I'm going to right click and go and create a vertex map. In the vertex map, I'm going to put my typical thing. Here, I'm going to call this fully simulated when the value is 1. I'm going to take this and drop it in here and press play. And if I move this, it should do something. There you go. So wink, wink. So you can see that there's a nice little way of controlling how your cloth kind of untangles and goes back to its original position. Let's add a few frames. Anyway, between this and the other and all the other stuff, maybe there's a solution for you to do this. Yeah, let me see if we have any comments here. I'm sure we have tons of comments. Hey, Drake, how are you? Let's see. Let's go back and find where I was. Oh, there we go. Okay. And this jumps around. So let's go further down. Oh, yeah, this was the one. So big beans. Hopefully, there is some solution for you to, amongst the stuff I showed. So let me put my face. Let's put my face there for now. Okay. Let's see. What is this question here? Any workaround with color mismatch in Redshift 26? Not so old videos according to 25. I do not. What do you mean color mismatch in Redshift 26? Just to let everyone know, as of Cinema 4D 2026, when you create a new document, the color management is set to ACES by default. Whereas previous to 2026, the color management was this, okay, which is the old school Cinema 4D color management that moves the color settings to Redshift. So if you go to the globals, you will see whenever this is set to legacy sRGB linear workflow, you're going to get Redshift color management here. Whereas if you set this to, let's say, ACCG, this is not available anymore. So there is a chance that that's why you're getting differences. Just make sure that your color management aligns. That's all I have to say about that. Otherwise, I'm not sure exactly what we are talking about. Yes, they all get the job done. Let's see now. Okay, let's see here. With particles, we can define speed velocity. In MoGraph, there's no way to define, because MoGraph is not a particle system. Yes. And the answer is it makes no sense. If you do want to have speed, clone on the particles. But I will show you something where you can hack MoGraph to make it appear that it has speed. Now, there's not going to be any graphics and all that. Sorry, I'm not going to do any dynamic things and all that, just pure MoGraph. So first of all, changing the speed is speeding up the transition of values. And the best way to show it is just using a matrix object, because it already has these things. So just the dots, nothing else. And let's make these 10 by 10. There we go. So let's assume I want these to move up a certain amount. I'm going to put 600 frames here. And you go here and you say, okay, I'm going to add an effector, and I want these to go up with a certain speed. Well, depending on how you're moving them, right, you can change the effector strength, you can change the parameter. Let's go with the parameter, which is a bit more straightforward. So frame 0 and frame 100 here. Okay, so frame 100, and it's going to move by 100. So the speed is determined by the value and the time. That's it. So it's moving 100 centimeters in 100 frames. Now that will be 3 point something seconds. If you want this to go faster, you just move this. So the sense of speed is just by making sure that the transition in space and the transition in time gives you the result you want. Now, having said that, cheers, just having some coffee. So having said that, let's assume I want a arbitrarily allow these MoGraph particles or MoGraph clones or matrices, whatever they are, to move upwards in forever, all right? So no keyframes are going to be involved in this. And let's set this to 100. Now, if we go to the field list, so remember this number, please. So everyone, say with me, 100, 3, 2, 1, 100. So in the field world, that value of 100, which is the maximum value, the clone, the effector, not the clone, the effector is affecting the clone, 100 from here all the way up to here, it's 100 centimeters. And that happens with a field value of 100%. Now, there's nothing in here, so nothing is masked. So if I take a solid here and I set the value to something less, you can see that for example, if I make this 50%, these have moved 50% of 100 centimeters. So that's middle. Why am I saying that? Well, let's try something. I'm going to set this to 5%. And what I'm going to do with this is, number one, I'm going to unclamp the list. If you click on this button, it will allow the total value of the list. This is nothing more than a mask. Go watch Cineversity, the tutorials I did about fields. I explain all these things. This is the same as an alpha channel, where you have values from 0 to 1, black to white, where white means fully opaque or fully transparent, depending on the renderer and whatnot. And the black is exactly the opposite. So a field is a 3D mask, and we know that if you want to make a mask in Photoshop, After Effects, or a texture material, you're going to use values from 0 to 1. But here we can go in what's called the high dynamic range of values. This means if I unclick this, this allows the values of this list to go beyond 1. And the moment the list goes beyond 1, we can achieve values larger than 100 centimeters, which is the maximum. How do we do that? Well, I'm going to go and get a freeze layer. I'm going to add it on top. Clear and freeze. So we have 5% from the solid. The freeze layer, because it stores the value of whatever is underneath it, another 5%. We're at 10% now. If I make a rectangle that is 10 centimeters tall, you will see that it's going to be exactly the same height of where the cubes are. Look at that. But what's going to happen now is that if I tell the freeze layer to auto update, it's going to add more and more and more and more values. And this is going to move up H, and it's moving up H. Look at that. It's moving up, 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 up. And I can make these bigger so you can see them. Look at that. It's going to move as long as there's time. So while these are not particles by any sense of the imagination, we can create procedural motion using this and all sorts of other things. So yeah, you can make these appear to wiggle as well. Oh, why did I move that? I'm trying to navigate here. And what I'm going to do is, let's say plane move. And let's put another plane effector here that moves them on the, let's say 30 and 30. Over here, I'm going to put a, let's say, a random field and make it bigger. So now we have a situation where these are not only moving upwards, but they're also wiggling the wiggles. There we go. Look at that. So we can do many things that imitates particles. Now, let's assume that you want to create fake particles here, but you want these fake particles to do more interesting things. Let me reset this at 200 frames so we can see them doing their little thing. I'm just going to make this smaller so we can see the wiggles better. Um, what was I going to say? I was going to say something and I totally lost my train of oh yeah, the speed. Well, the speed now is nothing more than the amount we're adding with each frame, because now these are raising by 5% of this with every frame. So uh, it's 5 centimeters with every frame. So if I go here and I set my field, not that field, this field, to let's say 10, it's going to be double the speed. So rewind, double the speed. And the faster this, the higher this value, the faster it's going to go, because that's going to be the value that's going to be added later on. Anyway, so while effectors do not have, MoGraph doesn't have a speed element, this is how you can go about and hack the system, so to speak, and abuse our tools, which is common, therefore not abuse. That's an interesting philosophical concept. You can abuse the tools, but that's how they're supposed to work. You know, they have a huge margin of forgiveness, and that's one of the really strong points of Cinema 4D. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, that is what you can do, and then you can go and add. So now I'm just showing off. You can go and add a tracer, and it's going to trace these things. And what else? Then we can add to this tracer a deformer, but it's not going to be a real deformer. It's going to be a plane effector in the form of a deformer in points mode, and we're going to move these in all sorts of different directions, and we're going to add another random field here that has some sort of animation, and it's set on the Luca thing, and we're going to make it bigger. I don't even know what I'm doing now. So yeah, and we're creating this weird sci-fi thing. We're going to get this to be from end 30 frames with a spread of 15. And what else? I think yeah, the last thing is just make sure that that is 0. And look at that. And yeah, make sure the tracer is not linear, but it's cubic. And that's fun. And make sure it's got a uniform set of points. And we have something. I don't know what this is. Forgive me. I don't know what I'm doing. Okie dokie. Let me just save this, because you never know. Again, I'm in the process of trying to find a way where any file I create during the stream, I can pretty much in real time, even immediately share it with you. So while you're watching, you can open the file and check it out. Wouldn't that be cool if I can share images or stuff like that? So let me know if that's cool. Just tell me how cool that is. Now, don't tell me if it's cool. Sorry. Tell me how cool that is, right? From if I would say from 0 to 10, 0 being extremely cool and 10 being the coolest of all things. Um, yeah, tell me. So let me save this. This is um, cloner as particle emitter. Emitter. Save. Okay, where are we here? I'm lost. So to all the majestic maidens, I hope this was helpful to you. If you have something very specific, please go to the form. After clicking on the link, you'll find up further up in the comment section, the one that says https maximumvfx.com and then 3uz and all that nice stuff, and post a question. And if you want to be contacted, add your email, and we can have a discussion about this. Okay. Next question. How does the modeling tools of Cinema 4D compare to Rhino 3D? Okay. A Rhino is your typical CAD program. So while both Rhino and all software that deals with some sort of 3D has rudimentary modeling, at least rudimentary modeling. CAD software is catered at engineering, at precision, and actually most, if not all, CAD programs they don't store the data as polygons like all other 3D programs, but as curves. So there's a huge overlap between what you can design in one and the other. I have a 3D printer somewhere around there. It's an old Ender 3 V2. I think I'm going to get a newer one now, something better. I do all my modeling for 3D printing in Cinema 4D using volume modeling, and it's scarily precise for the kind of stuff I do. I even printed working gears. I want to see if I have anything just floating around. I usually have some things, but oh, there you go. So here is a known brand gear, and this is fully functional. It's compatible with the actual brand's gears. It fits all the things, and yeah, it's a modeled in Cinema 4D using volumes. What what else can I say? But with CAD, it gives you certain other abilities that are catered towards engineering. Now, having said that, Cinema 4D can open a lot of CAD formats. So there is rather good compatibility. All you have to do is just open any of the supported files. If you want to find out which files these are, you go to your preferences, go to import and export, and you will see that we have a ton of files, import and export. So you will see that we have IGES, we have all plan and all that architectural stuff, CATIA. What else do we have here? DWG and DXFs and all that. Yeah, that's standard. We have JT. I don't know what that is. What else? SolidWorks, STEP, STL. So you can see that, there's quite a bit of importing capability. Excellent. There's also a website that does online conversions of CAD files into other CAD files. I don't remember what it's called. I always go and Google online translation of files, and it doesn't happen on the cloud. It happens on an instance of the page you have open in your computer, so you don't have to send anything. You do it locally. Fantastic. Okay. Again, hello, Drake. Okay, let's see now. Oh, I've got a scene with 2 short cylinders and a sphere. The animation starts with just the bottom cylinder scene. The next cylinder rises up from the first. Then the sphere rises up to be on top. Part 2, the sequel. I want the sphere to appear just out of the second top cylinder, but it can be seen under it before it starts its animation. Want to mask it out from being seen below that cylinder. Oh, okay. A simple Boolean would do that. So let's assume I have a sphere and a cylinder. Let's assume that my cylinder is transparent. I'm just going to go and turn on X-ray. And it's just a viewport thing, so you can see it in here. And what I would do is get a cube or another object that is, the top is flush with that, like that. And it doesn't need to be very big. And I'm going to use a Boolean, and the Boolean will be in subtraction mode. And I want to subtract A from B. So now this, is it A from B? Oh, it's, yeah. So when this goes in, you can see it's cut. We can't see it inside anymore. So, right. So this will be the way I would choose. Now, if you really want this to be based on a material, the good thing with this is that it creates the bottom cap as well. So this is a solid material. If it's made of glass, it's going to render properly. Whereas if you use other methods that will leave a gap underneath, if that is made of glass or other translucent materials or something like that, it won't look very good. But let's assume that you want to do that using a material. Opacity is your what you're going to use. So let's go and create a material. Let's drag it on the sphere, and there are a couple of ways you could do this. If your material is not complex, I'm just going to do a very simplified version. You can go to a um, flat projection of the material. If you want to see your flat projection, just click on this. You can see this is the flat projection. This is the projection thingy. And let's go here and create a gradient, a ramp. Ramp. Ba-da-bum-bum. Okay, there you go. A little ramp. Let's put it in the opacity. Okay. And this is going to create some sort of opacity for this particular material. Let me start IPR, and I don't want to see this cylinder at all. And let's go and add an HDR just so we can have some nice little environment. And let's drag this here. Oh, I keep forgetting. Don't call this external. That name is weird. So just so we can see things, I'm going to take my little ramp and I'm going to cut it. There you go. So this, and of course, I can always change the knot. All right. So when you're looking at a gradient, a ramp, you can have the knot set as step. This one actually step. So let's do that step. Move this here, and you can see that the cut. I deleted it by mistake. There you go. So it's a nice sharp cut wherever you want it to be. The issue with this is that you need to make sure that it's in world. Source, it can't be a UV map. You do, because when you move up your sphere upwards, this will move with it. So it has to be world-based. Oh, that's interesting. How do I do that? That's an interesting question. Source at alternative input. No. Do I have a world? Huh. Never thought of that. Texture space, that will be the UV. Alt input. Huh. I'm not absolutely sure. So you can counter, I mean, you can counter position this if you wish. See, now I'm getting into the weeds with this. Use a Boolean and get it over with. And yeah. Anyway, I need to think about this. We need to have a chat about this, Al. We need to have a chat about this. That's an interesting one. Okay. Let's see. The solution you found was at a composite tag the sphere, so not be seen by transparency at refraction and reflection. I've got some artifacts. I don't know if why do you think you need to complicate things? Yeah, if there's a particular, so contact me through the forum or go to X or Twitter, whatever you call it, and DM me at NosemanGR, and or go on the C4D Reddit forum, and that would be reddit.com, and then the channel is Cinema4D, capital C, capital D, C4D. Cinema 4D, one word without any spaces. Okay. So where were we here? Comments. Let's go. Oh, I missed. There we go. Okay, what do we have here? I'm trying to get different cloths to pull into shape of the text. I mean, again, depending on what you're trying to do, there could be different ways of doing that. You can use, so I don't know how to say that. Have you seen the movie Hellraiser, where there's a guy that has his cheeks with hooks and strings? Sorry for, I hope no one is under 18 and has nightmares tonight. Anyway, a really nice movie, not kid friendly. You could try do something like that. Maybe tie ropes or some sort of soft body constraints, something like that. Again, I'm just giving you ideas, or you can get, all right, let me do a couple of things and see if we can get this to work. So let me go to full screen, because all these, right, let's forget about reverse cloth for now, and let's go here, just going back to whatever my friends need. So let's turn this off. Let's go to the dresser, and let's clear the initial state, okay? And let's get rid of this, and get rid of this, and so forth. Very, very quickly, you could go and add small little cubes or spheres or something in key points of your cloth, right? So you can, um, let's make icosahedrons, because why not? Make them small, and let's go with Shift S, so snapping, and move. You can put one here. You can control put one here. So just go and constrain a few of these things in very specific points. Select them all, make them clothies. So cloth with mix animation, 100%. And go here now and create your new little things. So let's other objects. These are all cloths. Let's remove the floor. I'm just going to leave us a few objects as uh, possible. So it's a cloth. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to live update, and come on. Let's go now. Sometimes, just sometimes. Most of the time, it's just a user error create. There you go. So what you could do is just put these all freeze their position. So freeze all, and you can move them from a specific point to the final position, right? So you can do something like that, where animating this will control where your cloth is going to go, and just make these invisible. But it can be a fun thing, like Anyway, why do I find this so amusing? I think it has something to do with what I said about Hellraiser. Anyway, maybe you can try something like this. I'm gonna save this as let's cloth do uh, 2. Then I can't promise for sane naming of the files. Okay, let's see. It will be awesome to animate the perimeter of text with different components along a curve. There are a lot of things you could do. The perimeter of text with different components along a curve. Right. All right. Let's hack zero. Hack zero. This is an interesting thing you just said. Okay, let's try something just for the fun of it. Okay, just for the fun. So this is a spline, right? So we have the information we require in the form of this spline over here. Correct? Correct. Okay, I'm going to go and use a cloner, and I'm going to clone mini spheres as usual. Always icosahedron. There we go. And very small ones. There we go. I'm going to clone these on the spline, on an object. That object is a text spline, right? And I want every vertex even. I want some sort of even spacing, not per segment. Do I want per segment? Per segment, maybe. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I've added all these. Now I'm going to make this into a cloth and go and mix the animation. So there we go. So this is stuck. I'm going to make this invisible. And then I'm going to tell my cloth to have a connector. And that connector, there we go. So my points now are connected to all those spheres, right? Which means that if I press play, there you go. And then if I go here and tell this to offset rate, I'm going to go to the rate. Don't worry about it. I'm going to fix it in a second. Rewind. Look at that. I mean, it doesn't really look good, but it's fun. We're getting cloth that's being uh, animated, and maybe I can make these ever so slightly wiggly so they don't comply 100%. I mean, come on. We shouldn't be allowed to do this and have so much fun. I can just sit and watch these things for a while. But anyway, that's what your comment made me think about. So, when I say, Haxer, it's all your fault. But yeah, you can do all sorts of things. You can hack the system and do all sorts of stuff. Okay. Um, let's go here. Next one. How can I create multiple particle trails that follow a spline, like in some text style motion graphics tech style? Yeah, I tried using a cloner with rate and offset settings along with a tracer. We create multiple particle trails that follow a spline. But well, we can do that using our particle system. Um, just create any spline you want and create your particle simulation. So emitter, basic emitter, and let's rotate this, place it up here, and use a spline. Let's go and use a modifier, a follow spline modifier, follow spline modifier, and tell it to follow the target spline. So particles are going to follow that spline. They're going the other way around because I need to invert, sorry, where's my invert spline direction? There you go. So it goes, they're trying to follow the spline now. So 300. And then all you have to do is take your particle trail and say tracer. So you're combining the two things. You're combining following the spline, whatever that spline is doing. The reason that they're going here is because they're finding the spline 200 centimeters from where the spline is. Just put it closer if you want it to be closer. But in any case, combining a follow spline with tracing the particles, you can create something like this. And providing you spend more than 30 seconds on it, you can get some interesting results. And of course, you can tell the tracer to have a certain distance from end with a certain randomization, and you can add all sorts of things, noises and stuff like that. You can make this look much, much better than this thing here. So there we go. So now things are a bit more chaotic, but they're generally following the spline as much as they can, depending on the strength. Anyhow, so this will be a way you would go and do this. Okay. Yeah, there are always solutions that at least will bring you close to what you want. What we are trying to do here, the training team and me personally, is to make sure that we can break down as many of these barriers as necessary. But it is a discipline, right? It is um, 3D, and generally creating digital content requires um, certain mental acuity that happy to report that most of you have in troves, and I love to see the stuff you all make. Anyway, jiggle effect works with that. I don't know which one of all, but you can always try it. C4D is awesome, of course. Okay, let's see this. So trying to get multiple fabric to pull and form in the shape of a logo. Yeah, Big Beans, hit me up somewhere. Maybe we can talk about it and I can give you some more specific ideas. Oh, good. I'm glad it helps. So we have Mehdi from Bangladesh. You're very welcome. There we go. What else? Yeah, I can't answer these questions. These are questions you need to ask the product managers. Even if there was something in development, I couldn't talk about it. So you're very welcome, the all of you majestic maidens. You're very welcome. Okay, let's see. Yeah, How can I break ice in a mixer uh, grinder? Given so, I have to I have to say something to everyone. What we make, I'm going to make my face big. Everything we do is fake, right? So, I, yeah, everyone knows that. So that was just a joke. You just replace your objects with a particle simulation, or do it in stages. So while there's no specific techniques to break ice in an ice grinder, you don't expect to do it using simulations or anything like that. No, no. Especially with effects that take place very quickly. You fool the viewer by adding some, manual replacement, and then everything is dust. Okay. Uh-huh. I do not know. So, live stream. Let's see. Cooler than a polar bear's toenails. I haven't come in contact with polar bear toenails. That's why I'm here. It's one of the reasons I'm still here. Okay. I can I break ice? Oh, there we go. So my question is about accurate brand colors. Okay. Let's get something very, very clear. 99% of the time, brand colors are expressed in sRGB, right? So that's what Photoshop does. That's what most monitors show, and so forth. So interpreting brand colors. So if you're printing packaging, the brand color is the ink, probably some sort of patented color, Pantone or something like that, and they print it, and that's the brand color. But when you're doing any kind of post processing. So, for example, you've got CMYK, and you print something, and so forth. It depends on the medium, your paper, stock, dot gains, bleeds, and whatnot, technology, printing technology, and all that stuff. In our world, sRGB is the standard of viewership. Although between many, you can buy off the shelf right now 100 different monitors which support an sRGB profile, and everyone to be slightly different. So what we call brand color is mostly something that you need to convince the client that it's correct, and it just needs to look sort of okay. If I turn off the light I have over there, even the impression you get on the monitors behind there, if you do an A/B compare, it's going to be different. So those colors didn't change, but the environment changed. So I have always, in my very long, I would say, 20-year career with advertising, that was my single most uh, uh, issue I had. And sorry for going down this rabbit hole, but it needs to be said. Everyone was such a stickler for brand colors. And under no circumstances, two people that viewed the same advert were under the same lighting conditions. And where the extreme point was, I was working on a very famous brand of things that give you cancer, which had an animal with a hump in the desert as the brand. So I'm not going to say the brand, and a cartoony character. And I was making these billboards that would go on electric buses. We call them trolley buses in Greece, in Athens. And most of Athens, especially in the center, at night, the lights are yellow. It's that amber, very yellow light, which allows you to see a bit better, but totally flattens all the colors. It's like watching a sepia, orange sepia thing. Independent of all cars look dull and weirdly sepia. And yet, I was fighting with them over 6 or 7 days because they were repeatedly asking for proofs. And back then, it wasn't printers; it was proper make the film, go and do the print proofing, and yeah, very expensive. They were paying for it until the client approved it, only to watch these adverts at night on the buses, because during the day most people are going to work, they don't care about these things, and there's too much traffic, so you can't see them on the side of the bus. But the people that saw them at night couldn't see the colors at all. Everything looked yellow. So it's one of those things. Just said this story where, yeah, brand colors. If you convince your customer that this is the brand color, what they're seeing, or whatever, in my book, that's good enough. Having said that, now let's get back to the technical part. If you're working in any other uh, color system, any other color management system, and you want to work with brand colors, the brand color needs to appear in the final grading, whatever that is, or the final impression. And having accurate conversions. Let's say you're using um, SCCG, and then you do your color grading, and you have a custom grade for everything. So imagine if you go to a professional colorist that is working on a certain director's movie that has a very specific color range. Let's take JJ, right, which loves those blue, the blue and teal. Okay, so every movie with the lens flares and all that is sorry, not blue and teal, is orange and teal, right? That contrast, and it's mostly that blue color. If you grade your movie that way and you expect your brand color to look correct, then that is a false expectation. What you need to do is go on top of the grade, mask that thing out, and give it the color you want. And this is pretty much the solution. If you want to have brand colors on top of a very specific type of grade, you can't really deal with that when you're in 3D, other than creating the proper material, for example, AOVs or masks or something like that, where you can go and you can put that brand color, unless you're using a very specific color profile. I don't know what people use these days, but let's assume you work for a company that has a very strict pipeline, and you have a very specific final color grade. There's a very good chance that your brand, the brand manual, includes that. So imagine one of those streaming service each streaming service has a slightly different color pipeline. I'm pretty sure that they have profiles which brands work with, so that in their films, if there's any brand that appears, it would look good. But generally, with color, it's not as simple as that. There is no, unless you know exactly mathematically what the transforms are going to be, it's very hard to predict what reverse transforms you need for a particular brand color to look, how it looks under sRGB, which is 99.999, like it's 100% of stuff, unless you work for a huge streaming service or big movies and so forth. And the total the total scope of everyone that uses 3D and rendering and Adobe products and After Effects and all that, the people that actually use hardcore color management with ACEs and tone mapping and very strict and all that, is a very fine slither. To paraphrase one of the smartest people I know that has worked on Cinema 4D's color management, most people just need the old linear sRGB, but they don't know it. Right? So I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, you just need to know of the limitations, and if you're working with band colors, the best way is make a mask, make some sort of roto or something if you're doing it in 3D, and make sure you plaster the correct color after everything is done. That's it. Okay, that was my very short answer. I don't know. Woo, it's already 12 o'clock, but I'm going to continue today because I want to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, where the toenails. There we go. There we go. A lot of thanks. I see a lot of thanks there. Let's go. Hey, Sorab. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, excellent. And please, if you would like to be contacted, just leave any valid email, any email you're going to read. And again, if you go on Twixer, Twitter X, see what I did there? If you go on Twixer, I do respond to my direct messages. The only ones when they're um, uh, I don't get any rude ones, but everyone wants to make me a millionaire, a crypto millionaire. Those immediately get blocked and reported. But any other question, um, I do respond. Okay. How to make artificial snow at Christmas ads? Well, you can. Have you seen? If you go on the Max and Training to YouTube channel, we did do a winter theme. I think it was a year or 2 years ago. Jonas and I we were talking about how to fake snow. Go to Max and Training Team channel. I think you can search for snow or winter and look for something. And if not, show me approximately what you need because it's a combination of particles or the materials, and some of those things we do cover in that. Ba-ba-ba-bum. So let's talk about movies. Maybe do you think we need a show to talk about culture, popular culture of the 80s, which is what is for the Gen A's now, like my son. So great movie, Hellraiser, yes, but my favorite horror movie, the only movie that managed to give me some, nice nightmares, it was Carpenter's The Thing, the original one. It was a masterpiece, just a masterpiece. Okay, um, and Baywatch is scary if you watch it now. I love David Hasselhoff. Um, so let's see. What is this? Is there a way to add downloaded text to the menu for modeling text object? If it has to be installed. So if you want to use text, let's go to full screen. And if you add a text object, it will show you what's installed in your system. So if you do download a font or text, install it and it will work. But the other thing you can do is if it's you can open an Illustrator file. So if that whatever it is, text file, you can convert it to Illustrator curves and bring it in. Um, yeah, so install the fonts and oh, unless if you mean the variable outlines, uh, while you will see them here, they will not work like variable outlines. The only way to work with variable outlines is to use Cinema 4D's node system. So you would go nodes, you would go here and get an asset construction, let's say a node spline. In the node spline, I'm just showing you how you can access them. You can use a text object in here. The text object in here allows you for variable fonts. So this will allow you to, it doesn't need to be installed. I don't think it works with installed fonts. You go here and you get your font and you do this and it kind of works and it gives you all the parameters. These weird fonts, they have a ton of different parameters you can change for the different letters. So I think this is what you're talking about. um oh, there you go. Magic Snow, Nigel 4D, Lazarus. How's he doing? I haven't heard from him for a while. Okay. Da, 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 da. Yep. Thank you very much for the advice. I love it when the community is helping each other. So go to the Cinema 4D Reddit, and that's fun. Out of topic. I love out of topic questions. What is a viewing distance setting in Redshift environment instead of no documentation? I do not know. I do not know. Okay. Let's see here. My cloth collides correctly in viewport, but in Redshift render, there's a visible gap between the cloth and the collider. A small. So how to fix this? If it collides correctly in the viewport, then cache it. That's it. There's no other solution to make sure. Just cache it. Otherwise, we need to find out why that happens, and that requires a scene, and all that nice stuff. Pa-pa-pa-pam. Oh yeah, I read this question Yeah, uh, from France. Yeah, I read this, and it was one of the things I was gonna tackle towards the end of the show, and I've got carried away. Thank you for bringing it up. Um, the original question was to use pyro to do that, and it's those weird. Just in case anyone is wondering, when you have a rocket and you have that, and then you have, I think, those things. They look like diamonds. It's a weird shape that rockets have. Go watch some rocket launches. The answer is you can't. Right? There's no the the physics that cause those things is so complex that it will be extremely slow and it's impossible to compute. That is something you have to fake. So there's no way around that. That is something you need to fake it in post, or probably in post. That will be the best thing, and use that as some sort of texture and so forth. Sorry about that. Midlet, how can I use scene nodes to create a world space normal base? I figured out the object local space. They will rotate the object and have the normal projection to be. Um, I think world space is by definition in Redshift. You don't need a scene nodes. Why do you need scene nodes and not Redshift? But again, you shouldn't you shouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, let's put it in a vertex color. I told myself not to do experiments that I haven't prepared for. And of course, I'm going to go against my own advice. Let's go here and go other, do a vertex color, right? We're going to drive this vertex color called N, N W for normal's world. Okay. All right. Everyone, are you ready for um, destruction? So I'm going to use generator. So nodes mesh, going to put it here and go to my nodes layout. I shouldn't be doing this. Let's go and object child. I'm just going to get the child. I'm not even going to use this. I'm going to create my own. I'm going to create my own. So let's go and get the geometry. And do I need a transform? I'm going to use a transform just because I always have to do this. Let's get this and let's think about this. So we need the normals of this. So let's go and get uh, points info. So points info is going to give you points info, the normals, the point, the vertex normals, and let's just go and put them on a color. All right, the vertex color. So geo set, geometry property set this to color alphas, and take all the normals and put them here, and just type this geometry here or here, whatever that does, and just put this here. So we should have this. So these are global normals. Now let's see if I rotate this, what's going to happen here. Oh, it is global. There you go. Would it change if I do this? Okay, it changes if I do this, which just means that I need to get the reverse matrix, global matrix of this. If I go the inverse global matrix, something like that. I need to think about the math. I just need to invert the matrix. If it doesn't work, so in the inverse matrix, I'm going to get the global matrix, inverse it, and put it here. So now, no, it's not working. Damn it. Yeah, something I'm doing wrong. But yeah, in any case, these should be global world normals. These are negative values, but that's a different story because it's facing the other way around. I don't know if this contact me on the, the back channels. Okay. Is there a way to import point clouds, export from reality scan in theory by observing their color and rendering them in Redshift? If any point cloud, if it has stored values as a point attribute, then it should come in and the colors on the points should appear as vertex colors. This is something you need to experiment with because it could be a setting in reality scan itself, for that matter. But yeah, if you have a sample, again, contact me, DM me or something like that. Send me the result. The easiest way the easiest way for you is to export and then open it in Cinema 4D and see if it brings in a vertex color. That will be the way to do that. Okay, I'm kind of stuck with my cream material lately. Any good ways to tackle it? I'm not sure how to dial in the, as it says, the subsurf scattering scale. Yeah, I need to see it, what you're trying to achieve, because most of these translucency effects and so forth are sensitive to real world um, distances, right? So if you make your object bigger, then it will look different. Um, you know, something that's smaller allows light to travel more through it because it has less of a distance to travel. So less of the light gets absorbed. So make sure that your scene scale is correct as well. But just yeah, send me stuff. Send me your files. All your files are belong to us. If anyone tells me what reference that was, right? All your projects are belong to us. Where's that from? It's paraphrasing something. Let's see how old you are. Okay. Okay. And I'm trying to read this. Oh my God, I want to sneeze. It's one of those things. 1 second. Okay, I sneezed. Right. Sorry to ask a simple thing. Can you please help me with how to animate spline keyframes or moving spline using pose morph or something else using points of spline? Well, the easiest way is to use PLA, point level animation, right? So it always depends on what you want to do. You can rig splines using joints and stuff like that. I can't show them all. I'm going to show you a few of these things. Let's get a circle. Make sure you have enough subdivisions and proper subdivisions, okay? I can put a bend deformer in here. I'm going to rotate it, let's say, 90 degrees that way and 90 degrees that way. For some reason, I can't get my 90s and 90s. So 90, 90. And now you can go here and you can, you can create a spline animation. Yeah, I rotated it the wrong way. Always happens to the best of us. There you go, 0, just 90 degrees. And yeah, I can go here and flatten it. And you can animate the value of this and it will animate the spline. If you don't want to do this, you can make your spline editable and you can animate positions. So PLA, this thing here, you have to turn it on. And let's go and add, let's assume I don't want anything else, just PLA, right? If you hover over here, if you look down at the bottom left, it says turn on or off point level animation for recording. So now I'm just going to turn auto animation on, add one keyframe, then just move and move and move and move and move and move. So this should do that, okay? So PLA is the easiest way to do it, but there are many, many, many methods to do that. Again, if you have something specific, please get in touch. Okay. Um, and there is no apologies. Let me put it this way. If nobody asked questions, I wouldn't really have a job or I would be doing something else. So please ask your questions. Brand colors are the reason I don't work with aces. Unless you use aces for a very specific reason, nobody needs aces, right? Nobody needs aces. It's an amazing tool. It's well integrated in Cinema 4D. You can make amazing stuff with or without it. We have over 100 years of beautiful cinema before Aces was invented. So using postmorph or something else using points of spline. Yeah. You can do all that with the splines. Okay. Yeah, that's the funny thing about this. Even in print, I've got a newspaper from 1984, which I was. My photo is prominently shown. I'm not going to show it much in public because it's me playing water polo in a pool. Uh, so I'm not dressed, if you know what I mean. And it's not white anymore; it's yellow, right? So even in print, there is a life expectancy for the colors, and if there's a humidity and the ink sort of bleeds and blah 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 blah, all that. Okay. Yep. Exactly. Every monitor shows different colors and so forth. Yep. Now, pretending that we are working with brand colors is a different thing than working with brand colors, right? You have to be able to convince the people that care about these things that it's correct. If you can do that, you're good. Um, movie night. We can all hang out and watch movies at the same time while we're spread over 24 different time zones. That's going to be fun. Um, you want to create a utility for creating procedural vertex map. Yep. So yeah, I've made a few. So if you're interested or anyone's interested, get in touch. I could share a setup I did that does ambient occlusion in a vertex map using nodes, using some sort of algorithm. I think I came up with it. I don't even remember how I. Yeah, when you approach 60 years old, you come up with things, then you forget them, and then you watch tutorials to remember what you did. Now you have to figure out how to convert the lineage. Yeah, whatever. Forget about it. Uh, yes, there you go. You're very, very welcome. Danke. There you go. So for anyone that doesn't know, this there was a coin operated arcade game called Zero Wing, um, sci-fi, and there was a typo, not typo, a bad translation because all these were made in Japan back in the 80s. That they wanted to say that we own all your bases now, and their translation was all your base belong to us, and it's magnificent to see the history. Um, for example, why was Donkey Kong named Donkey Kong? Right? Go do some research. It's so fun to look at these kind of useless facts. Yes, yes. Yeah, 20 years ago. Yep. No, no, no. It is from the game. Interesting. Okay, I think we ran out of questions here. Good. Let me see if I have anything else on the spreadsheet. Anything that's interesting. Um, yeah, it was the mask. Anything I didn't get to properly, you feel there's a bit more context to it and all that, please just contact me. And anyone that has any personal suggestions. Technologically, I can't do many things. We use very specific. We use StreamYard to stream and all that. There's nothing I can do. But in terms of the content of what you like to see, would you like this to become a bit more informal? Maybe we can talk about other things and whatnot. If anyone wants to come and join me on the show, now this is an open invitation to anyone that's here. Let me put this before I do the housekeeping. I mean, it's nearly 12:30, and I believe it was a nice session. So if anyone wants to join me and ask the trainer, if you have something to show and so forth, There is a process of doing this. I will require potentially something, some sort of permission, but that's not a big thing. But if you have something to say or if you have something to show, don't keep it to yourselves. If you have a few hours available and you go on the Maxon YouTube Maxon Training Team YouTube channel, my God, that was a good word salad. Go search for DAT, DAT Montreal and DAT Toronto. Is it the Maxon Training Team or the Maxon? One of the two YouTube channels, which I'm going to show very soon on the um, in the housekeeping. Um, and you will see we had some interesting discussions at the DAT. So, one of the things I said was that if you do have something to say or something to show, if you're working on a piece, if you have, a story to tell and so forth, don't keep it to yourselves. And if you ever want to see how important that could be, you're not convinced that it's the at the it looks good, or you're not sure about the story and all that. What I'd like to do a thought experiment. I want you to think about something that has to do with art, music, dance, theater, movies, photography, anything that is within the, a statue, a sculpture, anything that is within the general realm of art. Okay. Um, and that affected you positively, that maybe changed your life, or made you feel better, or dragged you out of a slump, or was the reason why you met someone, your significant other, or any moment where something that some artist did affected you positively. And then try to imagine your life had that never happened. You will see that the impact we all have in our lives from a moment when we are exposed to someone's work, someone's creative work, um, how it can be a life changer. So if you have anything to say, if you have anything to show and all that, uh, do the best you can to show it. I'm not going to show people other people's show reels. That's not my business here. But if anyone has anything interesting to say, you want to be part of the show, you want to teach people something, you want to share something, just let me know, and we'll find a way to do it. I'm going to do some housekeeping right now. I'm going to read the. So there we go. So I'm going to bring up the scene. Oh, I didn't do my little photo booth for Dr. Sassy. Right, let me do that. Give me a second, because um, I'm going to do it. Let's do it with the. Oh my! I forgot to show this. I got so carried away. I'm going to show it next time, because I found a very good way to rig hoses. Right, it's even hoses with particular geometries here, right? So it you can fix it, but if you take a hose and you move it too much, it will bend. But yeah, there's a new technique in the house here. I'm going to talk to you in the next. Maybe or not. Maybe I'm gonna make a tutorial. I don't know. So where was I? Oh my God, I digress. Yeah, that was the thing. I had this the topology. All right, know what I'm gonna show. I'm gonna show this, which is the same as a quick tip. To this. I'm gonna turn this around. I'm going to zoom in because it's fun, and I know it's not Halloween anymore, but hey, let's go. 3, 2, 1. There you go. That's my photo booth moment with my very good friend, colleague, and mentor, Dr. Sassy. Um, okay. Du-du-du-dum. Where was I? I lose my train of thought. I'm just like a dog running in a garden full of squirrels. Okay. So yeah, I was going to do the housekeeping. Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Let's go to my browser. So don't forget to go to this nice little UTM link, so people know that you went there through the show. This is very helpful for the show, for the longevity of the show, because it shows Maxon that people actually follow this link. So I'm not telling you to go and do fake accounts just to click this button. Okay, I didn't say that. Did I just say that? So go here and you'll find all the events happening, the links to this university, and you can sign up to get latest news, and of course ask your questions. But you can also find me on the various socials. Um, this page here featuring it's a nearly a full house of me. These are all the events that are going on currently. I didn't do this on purpose, I promise you, but it's the last three things that were oh, this is today's fantastic. And yeah, go here and you'll find, based on regions and all that, even live shows that are taking place right now. And yeah, if you do find an event that's close to where you reside, make sure you go and meet other people. So I've met some of the nicest and greatest people through visiting shows. So go to the Maximum Training Team YouTube channel, and all these videos that created with Maxon, Master Trainer, and so forth, while they are live streamed on the Maxon YouTube channel and the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel, only the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel has them recorded with timestamps and comments from Dr. Sassy. So go check out an enormous amount of videos and presentations and information on the Maxon YouTube channel. Go learn ZBrush, the best sculpting and 3D painting program on the planet. It's absolutely amazing what people are doing with ZBrush, and you can do it on your couch. And of course, go to Cineversity and check out all the fantastic videos we have. I promise you, I do not search for my own tutorials. No one is going to believe me. I mean, and why would anyone believe me? Yeah, it's showing everything I've done. Okay, whatever. My tutorials are cool. Anyhow. So, oh, Hashi, free After Effects script depth wish. That's so funny. And that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, whatever, notifications, put comments in the comment section. I don't know if these comments, the questions you ask here, they count. But it was great seeing you again. See you in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna do a special in a couple of weeks. I'm going to post soon some subjects which I would like to show you. So don't miss December the 4th. I think it's going to be interesting. Okay. Let's go now. I need to go and find the buttons every single time. I need to press this. And at the end of the show, there's a QR code. I think that QR code leads to this page, but I've actually never used it, so I wouldn't know. No, I wouldn't know. There you go. So I think the QR code leads to that one. Take care, everyone. Have a nice afternoon. Here's the closing credits.